Hey everybody, I'm back. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist, and I'm creating a video every day for a whole year to get over my fear of public speaking and social anxiety. And this is video 159 of 365. And it is Halloween. Happy Halloween. I love this day. It's one of my favorite days. And then tomorrow's awesome too, because we get to fall back and gain an hour. And then it starts to get darker earlier and it's cozy, and I really like this time of year. So anyway, hope you all are doing well today. Wanted to talk about your negative thoughts that you keep experiencing every single day, and what we can do about those nasty things that we're thinking about, that inner gangster that's coming out trying to get you. That inner dialogue was placed in you so long ago that you don't even know it's running your life today. And so wanted to dive into that a little bit, see if we can calm this down. So we need to remember that we're not here to ignore our life at all. We're here to deliberately and consciously create our life. And we were never taught that we could do this. If we would have been taught we could do this, there'd be a lot less problems in the world. There'd be a lot more peace and happiness and all kinds of stuff. But now that we know this, we can change it. And Maya Angelou, I remember, she said, when you know better, you do better. So it's like, let's know this stuff, and then let's actually do it. Let's do it today, because a lot of times we are watching videos and reading books. This was me. It wasn't that I wasn't implementing, but I was like taking in the information and not fully implementing it. So you're consuming so much, and then you're not doing anything to like burn off the energy, kind of like food. You're eating too much, but not working out to burn off some of that energy. So we've got to deliberately choose where to place our focus and attention. So you're not going to ignore your life. You want to observe it and look at it as data and use it to your advantage and say, okay, so if this isn't how I want it to be, then I need to deliberately focus my attention on something else. And so this takes practice. I practice what I preach, always. And so especially with doing a video every single day, it's really helping me to solidify my own self-concept and my own beliefs and my own things that I want to accomplish and create in my own life. And so if you will just pay attention to what you're thinking every single second of the day, if you can, for just a little while, as much as you can. Every second is going to be hard to do, but we can dream that we could do that. But you got 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90 to 95% of them are the same thoughts that you had yesterday. If you can really think about that, that's pretty big. And so if we want a different life, we have to think differently. Let that sink in. You have to think differently about yourself in order to change your life. When you start thinking differently about yourself, you're going to feel different, you're going to act different, and you're going to have different circumstances that pop up. So I'm going to read something from Neville Goddard, one of his books. I thought this was just perfect, and it fit in with what we always talk about. So basically, this is, he says, the habit of seeing only that which our senses permit renders us totally blind to what we otherwise could see. To cultivate the faculty of seeing the invisible, we should often deliberately disentangle our minds from the evidence of the senses and focus our attention on an invisible state, mentally feeling it and sensing it until it has the distinctness of reality. I thought that was awesome. That's a great way to say, I mean, he just said some great stuff in all of his books, but so we're basically noticing what our five senses are telling us. Hey, this is going on. We're noticing this. This is the world you're used to seeing every single day. So you have a practiced habit of seeing this stuff. Of course, who doesn't? You know exactly what your life's going to look like every single day. It's like Groundhog Day, right? It's going to look the same because you haven't changed anything. You're just seeing the same things, you're thinking the same things happen. You pretty much have an expectation of all of that. So I think we can all agree on that part, for sure. Nothing really changes unless you have, something big that happens. I don't know. But so look at it like a habit. Say, my five senses are telling me this, and this is a habit that I've practiced. I've practiced being this way. And so that means if I've practiced being this way, that means I can practice being another way. And so he says to disentangle our minds from the evidence of the senses. So the senses are showing you evidence of what you believe to be true about you and your reality itself. So you want to disentangle, I like that word, kind of pull apart, detach, whatever word you want to use, and don't focus on the senses, focus on your desired reality. The invisible state is what he calls it. So as I've talked about before, there's the visible, which your five senses are picking up on right now, but there's the invisible that exists as well. And so it's fun to create this sense of, okay, there's an invisible world over here, just right there for me to be able to get. It's right there. I've just got to disentangle and detach from what I'm seeing, the evidence that I'm seeing. I've got to create a knowing with no evidence. I have that on my wall. Create knowings with no evidence. You've got to create a knowing. You got to know something with no evidence of it. But you have to create that in your mind first. No one's going to do that for you. You've got to create it. You've got to figure out what is it that I'm wanting instead of what I'm seeing right now and experiencing right now. What experience do I want to experience instead of what is being shown to me every single dang day? And what feelings do I want to feel? What emotions do I want to feel and experience instead of what I'm getting right now in my life? And you have to get real with yourself. What do I want? And how do I want to feel? And what do I want to create in my life that I've never even thought I could because I've been thinking the same thoughts every single day for so long and believed the same things about myself my entire life. Nothing's going to change until you change. And then he says, mentally feeling it and sensing it until it has all the distinctness of reality. Distinctness, is that a word? Distinctiveness? I need a dictionary. Every time I read some words on this camera, I'm like, is that a real word? Like, the older I get, there's a belief, the older I get, I lose my words. So mentally feeling it and sensing it until it's underlined, until it has all the distinctness of reality. So people will say, well, how long do I have to do this? You do it until. Until means could be today or it could be never. So you've got to mentally create these things. If you think about this, if you're ever like I'm sure we all have been there. I've been there at like a rock bottom feeling when you're like, wow, like everything kind of just fell apart in certain areas. I think we've all been there at least one time in our lives. And what I started doing when I felt that way, I would say I felt that way probably after my divorce for sure in 2014. It was terrible. And someday I'll talk about that maybe, but it was terrible. And, but it made me into this person I am today because that was the domino that made all the other dominoes fall down. And it was, if I would have known how great my life would be after that, and not that it wasn't great before, but I would have been a lot more, thankful. So then it comes back to that thing that we always say on these videos too, is that everything that is showing up in your life is for your benefit. So that divorce was for my benefit, even though it did not feel like it at all. It was terrible and horrible, and divorce just sucks sometimes. It sucks no matter what. But after that, I was seeking to change my life, and I started seeing clients, and I started helping people, helping my clients, and they would have things show up in their life that I was going through at the same time, at times. And so because I was going through it and implementing the things that I was reading and studying, and I would just practice, I would be able to teach them the same skills that were helping me too. They didn't know that I was doing that, but that's what was happening. They were teaching me as I was teaching them. It was just very interesting, the co-creation of it all. And so, but I didn't know about this back then, this as fully as I do now, not at all. So you want to study this stuff for real, and I recommend, I like to listen to a lot of different people, but I don't want you to get confused by people. So just have fun listening to people for now if you're new at all this. Just take some gems from what people are saying, but don't let people confuse you, because at some point you're gonna get to decide what you like. And just decide something. Just take a note of something that you like, put it in your notes. Don't take notes for 10 years like I have. And then like forget to go back to them and read them over and over again like I should have been doing. And there's that should word, by the way. I need to delete the word should out of my vocabulary. I recommend you do too. But I kind of wish I would have gone back in them and read them, because I would have remembered more of, who I am through these notes I was taking. And now I'm doing this 10 years later. So it's very interesting, but be careful about overloading your brain. Just take something and implement it. So something you can do is write down the most dominant thoughts that you have that make you feel bad about yourself. What are your beliefs, your thoughts? A lot of people believe they're not good enough, or they're a disappointment to other people, or they can't do anything right, or when they finally trust somebody that they're going to get hurt again, or something like that. These deep-seated things are in us, and so we don't remember that they're in us until we are kind of in a situation that might bring that out. And so then you feel it, and sometimes you don't even know what you're feeling. It's like an emotion in your body that you feel. Your body remembers it, but your brain is kind of maybe blocked it out. But you got to think about like what is active right now. Some of that stuff doesn't matter always unless it's kind of active right now. So I just recommend a lot of present tense dominant thoughts, because sometimes they'll connect back, subconsciously. But I just recommend keeping things as simple as you can. Make a list of thoughts, beliefs, and then I like to say cross them out and write the exact opposite on the other side of the paper. And those are the thoughts that you want to fire and wire into your brain instead of the ones you've already fired and wired. So the left-hand side of that paper is not who you are at all. That's not you. That's your programming. So you can start saying that, like, this is my programming. There is no evidence that you are not worthy unless other people have done things to you where you made it mean that you were unworthy. You created your own evidence, right? You created your evidence by attaching a meaning to something. Even if somebody said, oh, you're worthless or whatever, even if somebody said that, you took their words on as truth because there was something inside you that already felt that way. And that's what we do as adults now. Instead, in childhood, things are just kind of, our brains don't know how to process at those young ages. But as an adult, we haven't changed those beliefs and thoughts and feelings at all. So they're still they get activated, and they have an intense charge sometimes. So you want to grab those and really think, okay, what do I actually believe about myself? And do I love myself? Ask that. Do I love myself? Do I like myself? Where did I first hear this negative thought? Who told me this? Because somebody told you that, or something happened to make you associate that meaning with that event that happened. But a lot of the time, somebody's told us that. I have memories from even kindergarten, like getting made fun of in kindergarten. And like that recently popped up. I was like, oh man, I forgot about that. That's crazy. And so I think just whatever pops up is ready to be, changed and healed and let go. And write on your piece of paper, like, what thoughts do I need to let go of that I'm holding on to that are holding me hostage in prison? Everything is holding you hostage. Everything is keeping you from being your full leveled up self that you really are wanting to be. And it really isn't that much of it isn't that hard. I think we make it really hard. I was making it hard. I thought I was listening to too many people. I was looking outside of myself too much. Let's put it that way. That's what I recommend for people. That's a really big shortcut, is to like I said earlier, like, you don't want to ignore reality, just observe it and say this is evidence. Okay, cool. But what is it that I actually do want? And then you place your focus deliberately on what you do want. And I didn't know that we could do that years ago. I didn't know we could do that. And so I kept thinking the same thoughts and feeling the same way. And it was just a roller coaster. And so we have to really be conscious of where we're placing our focus and energy and attention throughout the day. Because as you begin to do that, you're going to realize, oh my God, I was thinking so many bad thoughts about myself. And why am I doing that to myself? And you'll notice when you start to feel really, really good and you've practiced that for a while, you're going to notice that your old thoughts come in and they feel really bad, like worse than they ever did, because that means you're changing and becoming a new identity. And so all the other stuff that was, quote, normal before is like hurting you. You're noticing it more because you've changed and shifted. And so everything's going to pop up looking different and feeling different. But it really is the same thing. You were just a different person and you were able to tolerate it. So we don't want to tolerate anything. Notice where you are and notice where, like if you can place your attention somewhere else, where would it go? Think about that. Where would you place your attention? If you could place it anywhere, where would you place it? And so again, think about your identity and who you want to be. Write those thoughts down. If I were my future self right now, what would that look like? Get really outlandish with this. If you want a yacht, write that down. I want a yacht. I want to be an entertainer on a Caribbean cruise. I mean, anything. The whole point of it is to get you into a different mental state than you're in right now. It's to disrupt the pattern that is hurting you. And we're going to create a new pattern that feels better for you and serves you and is loving. We got to go back to love, guys. Oh, we got to go back to love. We don't know what love is, I think, in the world. We don't know what it is. I was talking to somebody about love today and how love just, to a lot of people, looks like control, or they're over-helping, or lots of control and possession. Like, you're mine and I have control over you, and that's not love. And there's a lot, we could do a whole video over love and what that does and doesn't look like. But start with self-love. Start with looking at yourself like, do I love myself? Do I even know what that means to love myself? And I think self-love is letting go of negative beliefs about yourself. I know that's one thing. And deliberately practicing new thoughts about yourself to replace the older ones, because the other ones they suck. We don't need them. So we need to create new patterns, new shifts, and that will create a new you. I mean, you will see, I promise you, when you shift into that new identity, you're going to see a lot of new things in your life, and you're going to see people treating you differently, different people showing up at random times. It's so fun to do this. You'll think certain things and somebody will just pop up out of nowhere, and it's the best. It's the most, I think life is such a fun game to play because it really is a game. And if you treat it as a game, it can be fun. But if you don't look at it as a game, it looks like it's happening to you. So remember, it's happening through you. You get to play this game. And you get to decide who's in it and what happens. But we don't believe that we're doing that because we haven't been taught that, and we've practiced the exact opposite. We've practiced powerlessness, actually. So you've got to practice being powerful, and that starts with letting go, first of all, identifying what these negative cognitions are that you have about yourself, these thoughts and beliefs. And we've got to figure out, okay, we've got to do some surgery here, and we've got to replace those old thoughts with new thoughts. We've got to figure out, who do we want to be? And because everything you read will start impressing into your mind. Everything you write and read, it's really important to read and write. It really, truly is. It will help rewire your brain by just seeing it on the paper. It'll also feel, I would imagine, pretty therapeutic to get it out of your head too, to just write it down and kind of grieve over it and be like, man, I've got to let go of this old self. And we will grieve the old self as we become the new self. It's a really interesting experience. And love is so powerful. Self-love is so powerful. If you go back to that and you look in the mirror and start telling yourself, I love you. A lot of us don't feel deserving. So you've got to get really clear on, what do I believe I deserve? Because if you don't like yourself even, you're going to actually have this belief underneath that says, I'm not deserving of being treated properly, even by myself. So you got to consider that first. It's all about self. Neville Goddard said there's nothing to change but self. There's no one to change but self. If we keep focused on ourselves, we can create magic outside of ourselves. It just takes introspection, looking inside yourself and saying, okay, what are my patterns? What are my habits? Habits are choices that we make. They're programmed in, and as soon as we recognize what we're doing, it's a habit now. Like it's a choice. It's like an addiction to choosing to keep doing that. And we say, oh, it's just a habit. No, it's a choice. It's become a choice when you recognize the pattern in yourself. And so I saw Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson said, and this was at the end of a longer quote, but he said, you are the problem, which means you are also the solution. And I really like that. I don't like to call ourselves problems, but if you just think about it, yeah, we are the problem, which means we are the solution. Polarity. Problem, solution. We're both. And that is so exciting. And it should empower you to feel like you can actually make a change instead of being the old self all the time. So I could ramble longer. I'll stop for the evening. So you guys take good care of yourselves, love yourselves, look in the mirror into your gorgeous eyes and tell yourself, I love you. Keep doing that over and over and over and over. You're going to start to feel some sparks, fall in love with yourself. You're going to start to feel it at some point, I promise you. If you do, comment, let me know if these videos are helping you. Please do. And I love all the comments that I'm receiving already. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you all so much. And if this did help you, please share it with somebody who it might help. And please like and subscribe if you'd like to. And I will be back tomorrow. Check out my other videos if you'd like. There's 158 others. There's a lot. So you got a whole library to go through if you'd like. But I'm trying to make each one a little bit better each day, 1% better. So remember to just be 1% better every day with yourself. Treat yourself 1% better every single day. And remember, you are loved. Pass that on to somebody else. And what you appreciate appreciates. So appreciate yourself. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.